Great. Does anyone have any epiphanies that you wanted to share since we last met? I had an interesting one this morning when I was talking to Francia. She was talking about how, well, she was explaining to me about her journey through the Bhagavad Gita, and she's almost done. She's like you could probably count in two
Yeah.
hands the number of pages she has left. But she's going real slow. And I was sort of saying, you can finish that off, and then I want you to go to reading the Krishna book and reading the on chanting about the importance, all quotes from Prabhupada about chanting, the power of that. And really, he said many times it's his most important instruction is about chanting the holy name. And it's nothing but quotes from Prabhupada's books, from his lectures, from his letters, from his room conversations. It's just quotes from Prabhupada. And it's real easy to just read a little chunk and read a little chunk and read a little chunk because it's not like a storyline. It's just different quotes. And I've found it really, really valuable. Okay. Can you hear that noise in the background?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
Okay. I'm going to turn this off. No, I want it. I want to go off.
Do you want us to silence our own phone, our own computers?
No. It's coming from here.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there's some little construction going on. But usually I just click on this and it goes away. Oh, well, anyway, no big deal. So Francie is very specific about what she wants to do and how she wants to do it. And and I just go with the flow. I mean, whatever. That's how we have to deal with people. If she goes at a pace that works well for her, it may not work for others, but we all have to find out what works for us. And not just for us, but we have to be very sensitive in dealing with other people to accommodate that. So I was thinking in the back of my mind that there was this kind of well-known verse from Thoreau, and so there's I've often heard this said that everyone marches to the beat of a different drummer, right?
Yeah.
We've all heard that. So interesting. So I started getting all these realizations from it. But first, I want to quote before I go there exactly where the verse came from. It's from his book Walden, and this was like in the middle, like 1850 or something like that. It's a long, long time ago, but really thoughtful. But this is I'm going to give you oh no, I printed it here, I think. Yeah. So this is a quote from, whoops, no, not, okay, quote from Walden. If a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music which he hears, however measured or far away. So
Yeah.
it's very beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking that it's true that not only does every human being march to a different drummer, So does every species. They all have different moods and different personalities and so on. They all have different sort of inclinations. Hare Krishna Koki Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
We're speaking about my epiphany from just this morning about how everyone marches to the beat of a different drummer, because Francia was very specific about how she wanted to finish the Bhagavad Gita, her last like 8 pages or something. But she doesn't want to whip through it. She wants to with the same slow pace. And I was agreeing. I said, that sounds like a good plan. That's how you like to do it. So whatever works for you, do it. And then so I quoted that verse about that everyone marches to the beat of a different drummer. And then I got thinking about how it's not just human beings, but every species of life is hearing a different drummer. And but no, it really hit me. First, I was thinking that's Krishna in her heart, right? But it isn't Krishna for most people. They're like bad drummers, right? And they're listening to their mind. They're just listening to the mind and doing whatever the mind wants. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says the mind can be your worst enemy. They're listening to the senses. Whatever the senses want. Boom, ba-boom, ba-boom, rum, ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum, bum, bum. Go after this, go after that. And or like say the followers of Donald Trump, right? They just get in line and march to whatever he's the drummer, right? And he's playing his cadence, and everyone is following. Vrindavan Chandra, can you tip your computer a little bit so we can see you? We just see the top of your head. Nice to see a handsome gentleman. There we go. Yeah, good. Nice to see you. See that beautiful smile. So, and Maya's a great drummer, and she can. Most people are really they're following the beat of Maya. Bum, bum, I mean, she can really do some nice music, and she's got not just the drums, but she's got the whole orchestra, trombones and trumpets and saxophones and French horns, and she's got a whole orchestra, and we're listening to Maya, and she'll lead us right to the gates of hell. There's a verse in the Gita that talks about 3 gates to hell. Trividam narakashedam, dvaram naramashmana, kama krota tada laptas, tasmat etat tvayang tvajet. So Krishna says, Trividam narakashedam. There's 3 gates to hell. Kama, krota, and lobha, lust, anger, and greed. They're the 3 gates. And then Krishna said, but every insane person, every sane person should give these things up, get off these roads to hell, because they lead to the degradation of the soul. So anyway, I was just really thinking of that they're listening to the wrong drummer. So we have to make sure that we're listening to the sounds of and the wisdom of the Vedas, and especially what Prabhupada has given us. The Goswamis have distilled it. They've taken all the knowledge, and we want to be marching to that, marching to the words of our Guru. And that's what we want to listen to. That's how we want to be conducted. So anyway, I just had this vision from that epiphany that I'll probably think about it for days. I'll probably expand it in my mind, but how people listen to the wrong drummers. I'll definitely work this into one of my Bhagavatam classes, but it's a neat little thought.
Mm.
And it's interesting that we should try to see everything and connect it to Krishna. And the smallest thing, just like this, the smallest thing where Francia just said to me, "Oh, Narahari, you're very, you work with anybody. You want to go wherever they're at." And just from hearing her say that, it made me think of the drummer. And now it's got my whole mind absorbed. And even a lizard, even a snail, there's a drum playing, and they're marching to that beat. So, and my brain's going on now. So, like, we could be listening to Krishna, but have you ever been listening to something, maybe some music, but somebody's got something else playing in the next room, and you can hear it? Maybe some gossip, even, right? And nothing like gossip, which we definitely want to stay away from, but because we're in the material world, we're so fallen, even gossip is juicy. Ooh, gossip. So there can be more than one. So we have to kind of tune it, keep it properly tuned.
Mm.
How many people remember driving your car with the radio on before they were digital,
Oh, yeah.
where it would drift? You could be listening to one station, and next thing you know, there's another station on. Right? It's completely different music. You'll shift. Ellie, are you too young for that?
Yeah, by the time I was driving, I think they were digital, but my
Okay.
mom must have,
Oh, definitely your
I
mom.
must have been in the car growing up, I'm sure. But my
Yeah.
mom usually listened to like CDs and tapes, so
Oh, I see.
I didn't get a whole lot of that.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. But
Now,
if you
Jen,
took a if you did a road trip, then you're going from one state to another and you're
correct.
drifting. Yeah.
Very good point. Excellent point. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's true. When you're driving, it's going to change because the radio stations are only for a certain area, and gradually it starts getting weaker. And it's
Mm.
not digital, so it shifts. It shifts. I don't understand how all the electronics work. Maybe Ghanshyam does, but he's one of these smart techie guys. But he might be too young for this.
Yeah.
Ghanshyam, do you know? Were you around when radios were linear,
Yes, Gurudev. So yeah, we had a radio. It was like analog. You just tune
analog?
into
Yeah,
channels, rotate the what to say.
The dial.
Yeah,
yeah.
rotate. Yeah,
The knob that you're turning the knob, and you have to keep changing it. You have to tweak it a little bit because
yeah.
of the signal is shifting. So it's kind of like that. We have to make sure we're tuned in to Krishna's drums.
Mhm. Can I
And
just say that when you were talking, I had another thought, which is that everybody's got their drum going, and I should just not try to change anybody because they're listening to a drum from Krishna, and that's for them. But you know, I, I
you know
want
what?
to, I
What
want
I'm
to change Michael.
you you missed my point. I think is that not everybody's listening to Krishna. They're listening to Maya.
Right.
They're not listening. They don't hear Krishna at all. They're tuned in. Krishna is always there. Actually, there's places where Prabhupada said that Krishna is always speaking to us, but we're not listening. We've tuned him out, and we're listening to Maya, or we're listening to some nonsense, and we're following that.
Mm.
Just like I see sometimes. Anybody heard these cars they go by, and the music is just blasting, boom, 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 boom. It's like you think their windshield's going to break any minute, or your eardrums are going to break. Has anybody heard this? They've
Oh,
got
yeah.
this like rap music going, and it's like boom, and they have like, and they must spend like thousands of dollars on these speakers and radios and stuff, and they're they're just tuning in this Maya. So we want to always make sure we're tuned into Krishna and following in that way. Well, that was 20 minutes of a little epiphany. Okay, so let's see. Lakshman Prabhu, yeah, comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to share. We just got the Back to Godhead magazine yesterday, and I just wanted to share. I haven't had a chance because we just got it to read the article yet, but I really like the name of the article. It goes with what we were talking about today. It says Mahamaya or Yoga Maya, the
Mhm.
confusion of illusion. And so I thought
Confusion of
that
illusion. Who wrote that?
uh, I'd have to go downstairs. I pulled it up on the computer, and it's a little blurry.
When it says
But it's in
confusion of
Back to
illusion, it's
Godhead magazine, and right on the front cover of it this month, it says Mahamaya or Yoga Maya question mark, the confusion of illusion.
it really sounds, just the title sounds like Chaitanya Charan, because he's such a guy with rhyming words. He's just like always doing it. He's like
If
a
everyone doesn't
genius
mind, I'll
at
go
it.
ahead and I'll grab it real quick. But
Yeah, now you
my
gotta be
hold on real
curious
quick.
if it was Chaitanya Charan or not. He's a great writer and a brilliant devotee. And I think I mentioned he spent a couple days with me. He's like my nephew, but he's very, very elegant. One of these guys, born in India and totally focused. Is a great speaker, and he's always finding words that interact and rhyme. So it's something it's like hard to forget. But this may not be him. Who was it?
Uh, Ramanatha Sukha Dasa.
Ramnath Sukha. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that sounds cool. Yeah, that definitely goes along with what we're talking about. Okay, so let's we got some interesting questions, and I think the first was okay. The first was Ellie, and Ellie had an interesting question. She said, "Hari Bol Gurudev, my obeisances." Okay, Srila Prabhupada said that we should never go over our guru's head to the next spiritual master. How is it that we can appreciate wisdom shared by both you and our grandfather, Guru, without it being offensive? Okay, so I think the only time I've talked about that was in relation to, and it was right from Prabhupada's mouth, when I was in Mayapur in 1974. Ellie, is this ringing a bell? Is this what I was talking about?
I'm not sure. I read it in
Oh, you read it somewhere.
I read it in the Leelamrita. It was I think it triggered a misunderstanding with his devotees, and
Yeah,
he
okay.
became angry
All
about
right, so
it.
I think I was there. I think now it
Mm,
could have been something that I don't,
hmm.
something that I wasn't, but I think I was there because it was
Wow.
real profound. It was 1974, and it was the beginning of 74, and it was the first festival that they had in Vrindavan, in Mayapur, and I was there. And so we were very neophyte devotees. I mean, most people hadn't been around for, um, I'd only been around, let's see, in 74, like a year. I was like a 1 year devotee. And most people were similar. They were very new. So we were staying at a place called Fogal Ashram. There was no Krishna Balaram temple at that time. And there was this neat little town nearby called Loy's Bazaar. And so everybody, during the day we would do different things, and we went into Lloyd's Bazaar because there's all kinds of cool stuff you could buy, dhotis and saris and stuff you could never get in America. This is before there was, it would be like prohibitive to ship something from India back then. And this was like, it was like, a candy store. I mean, stuff you could, car towels you could buy, or things you just wouldn't dream of that you could ever buy them. And it was like everything you could want. It was like kids in a candy store. So one of the things that the devotees found was this bookstore. And it had all these books by Bhaktisiddhanta, Prabhupada's guru, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, Govinda Das. I mean, these outrageous nectar books, and we were just buying them up like crazy. And when Prabhupada got wind of it, he called us all together, and I can feel the room. I was sitting in this big, room with everyone, and Prabhupada was furious that we were going and buying all these books when we had his books. And the point he made, he said, you cannot jump over the head of your guru. And then he said, how are you going to understand Bhaktisiddhanta? He said, I can barely understand him. And Bhaktisiddhanta was like, he's a genius. How will you understand Bhaktisiddhanta? So remember now, we were very young, immature devotees. He wanted us to focus on his books, especially because we're like little babies. And it doesn't mean that now devotees aren't translating and reading, books from the acharyas, so in our line, in our disciplic line, the great devotees. It's different now. And at the same time, we still give the main focus to Prabhupada's books. Now, I see in ISKCON, there's so many people writing books, and they're all over the place with all kinds of nectar. These very intimate pastimes of Krishna, etc., etc. Gopal Champu. I mean, it just goes on and on. The books that are now available, and I see people quoting them, and they're not exactly what Prabhupada gave us and what Prabhupada wanted us reading them. And quite frankly, this is probably 5 years ago. It was the last time I was in India attending the meetings, and I'm not part of that anymore. But the devotees are very concerned that people aren't really reading Prabhupada's books. They're going elsewhere, and they're reading these other literatures. And quite frankly, when I hear people giving classes, and sometimes they're bringing something in from these other books that the Prabhupada never talked about, I'm not that excited about hearing it, quite frankly. I'd rather hear basics, because I can barely understand that I'm not my body. We're so... Anyway, I don't want to criticize others, but for me, and the direction that I want to steer my students is let's primarily stick with what Prabhupada has written, and rather than all the books that were translated. I mean, who here has read all of Prabhupada's books? Please raise your hand. So we got a ways to go, but people, especially young devotees, they're focusing on these other things. And now Prabhupada is another story. Connecting with Prabhupada. Well, that isn't just another story. My feeling as a guru is that the only reason that I am willing to accept a handful of disciples is that I'm doing it with Prabhupada together. Because quite frankly, I just know my own realizations. I'm not capable unless I'm there with Prabhupada, you're taking both of us. Because some of the gurus nowadays that you'll find, the focus is on them. What they say, they're not, they say they're connecting to Prabhupada, but in reality, they want to focus on them. I want my disciples and students or anyone I'm mentoring to focus on, yes, I'm the Diksha Guru. I'm kind of like signing the contract and so giving your name, etc., and guiding you. But everything I'm doing is coming from Prabhupada. And I encourage you to have the relationship with Prabhupada, which is, I encourage everyone to read the Lilamrita. How many people have read the Lilamrita in its entirety? Yeah. Gansham, your hand is like, I'm getting a couple fingers up. What was that?
Actually, I'm multitasking, so I'm working too. So,
You're,
yeah. So I've started reading Bhagavad Gita. And I'm also reading back to what's that? Oh no, Beyond Life and Death.
Beyond Birth and Death.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. But you're chanting 16 rounds.
Yes.
Wow, amazing. Okay, good. So yeah, the focus should be Prabhupada. But I think it's broad, and mature devotees have every right to, if they feel so inclined. I just don't feel so inclined to read all these things from the outside. Sometimes someone will, give class kind of cool, like on Govardhan Puja. One of the ladies who had read, I believe it's in Gopal Champu, these they're pretty cool. They're like pretty cool stories of Krishna that are bona fide, but it just wasn't exactly what Prabhupada gave us. But I like hearing it. But again, my main focus, my main diet is Prabhupada's teaching, the mood of Prabhupada. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much, Gurudev.
And again, I don't know, maybe if later you could point out the exact incident where Prabhupada said that don't jump over the head. But this is the only
Yeah,
one that I'm aware of, and I was there. And anybody who was there didn't forget it. I mean, he was mad, and it was like a loving parent scolding their, like if your child wants to play with, fire, you're going to be heavy with them. So Prabhupada displayed that moment. Okay. Now, next is Koki. Hare Krishna Gurudev, my question for today, what is the difference between karma, prescribed action, akarma, actions that lead to freedom, and vikarma, forbidden action, the same as sin? So, karma, vikarma, and akarma. This is we really want to understand and know these three. Who can tell us what is? Well, let's start with akarma. What is akarma? Koki Prabhu, what is your understanding of akarma? We don't hear you. You're muted.
So I'm a little confused between karma and akarma.
Okay, got it. All right.
My understanding is that it sounds like they're the same.
No, very different.
Okay.
Okay. Let's start with karma. Let's go right in the middle, karma. Karma literally means, from the Sanskrit root, krit, which means action. It literally means action. But the meaning when we say karma, it means that we are following the Vedas. We are following the Vedas, acting in accordance with Vedas, not necessarily bhakti yoga. Remember, the Vedas deal mostly with material nature, which is why in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna told Arjuna to forget the Vedas. Because it's Kali Yuga, we don't have long, and Lord, we can go right to Krishna in this age by devotional service. But karma is we're acting in such a way primarily to please the demigods in order to get a higher position in the material world. This is karma. And the karma kanda section of the Vedas is the vast majority of it. How to enjoy in the material world. That's karma. You do something, you're getting paid for it. You're going to get some enjoyment. Now, the problem with karma is that karma is temporary. You're going to get some benefit, go to some heavenly planet, which is, unimaginable. The pleasures there. Now, of course, remember, the pleasures, the unlimited pleasures practically in the heavenly planets, they're not a drop of what's there in the spiritual world. So we're not interested in going to the heavenly planets. Thank God we're not there now. We'd be all distracted. We'd be heading off to enjoy because it seems like there's no problems and there's no urgency. Right now, when I turn on the news, boy, it makes me want to dive into my japa. When I see what's going on in this world, when I see the president of the United States, which was, the kind of the most important country in the world in many ways, all about freedom and so on, see where it's going. It's like, man, I got to get out of here. I'm going to grab everybody I can. I'm not like some Saint Krishna, keep sending me back as long as you want. No, I prefer to go back home. But while I'm here, give me some nice service. But I got to get everybody out of here. This place it's getting crazy. I mean, absolutely insane. So karma will get you to a better place in the material world. But it's always temporary. You can't stay there. Karma runs out. Vikarma. So you're doing pious things in order to generate, good karma. Like, feeding hungry people, and maybe you're a doctor and you very selflessly become one of the what's called physicians without borders or something. The plastic surgeon who I use that is always removing stuff, the squamous cell cancer from me, his expertise, his super expertise is cleft lips and cleft palates. And he goes all over the world and he does it. You can't even tell. These poor children that would never happen otherwise, but he's definitely getting some good karma for that. It's going to be temporary, but he's definitely building some good karma. Vikarma, no, let's go. Yeah, the Vikarma. Vikarma is when you are doing things that are not authorized in the Vedas. And generally, when Prabhupada talks about Vikarma, he's talking about animal slaughter, intoxication, gambling, exploiting others. This is Vikarma. You're going to get bad reactions. You're going to suffer. You'll suffer terribly for Vikarmic activities. They're not authorized and they're sinful. Now, the problem is that some people think that they're doing something nice. Let's say, for example, they're feeding the hungry, but they're feeding them meat. What is that saying? That I mentioned this before. The road to hell is paved with many good intentions. By the way, where'd that quote come from? Anybody know? Anyway, but I like to quote. So yeah, Vikarma, and pretty much before I met Prabhupada, I was a Vikarmi. My life was all about Vikarma. Pretty much enjoy for the moment. Enjoy for the moment. sex, drugs. Most people from my age will say sex, drugs, and rock and roll. But for me, it was sex, drugs, and jazz. But anyway, it was all about. We used to say in the '60s, "It feels good, do it." So I was total Vikarmi, as were my parents. They were training me to be go to med school and be a good boy, but every night on the table, meat. And we had a summer home at Chesapeake Bay. We would catch crabs, and my father would put them in this big pot and boil them alive. And it was horrible. Anyway, this is all Vikarma. So, and then Akarma is, a lot of people want to build up good karma, right? It's a big thing. Good for your karma. Well, again, it's temporary. You could really enjoy with it, but we don't want to go there because it's temporary. Akarma is when means without, the A part. Akarma means karma, akarma means no karma. When we serve Krishna, there's no karma involved. The fact that we're all listening to this class, I'm speaking, you're listening, but Krishna is pleased with us equally. The speaker, the listener. Same. Krishna is so pleased. My deities are right here. Of course, Krishna is within every atom, and Krishna's in our hearts. Krishna loves what's going on. We're building a karma. It's done for Krishna. And all we want to do is go back and live with Krishna, serve Krishna. And actually, when we become, right now, I want out of here because I'm not that advanced. I mean, this material world is scary. As we advance in spiritual life, as I advance more, it won't matter where I am or where we are. When that love actually awakens in our heart. So akarma is, there's no karma in our actions. We serve Krishna. Like if somebody, let's say somebody is eating prasadam, akarma. You're advancing by it. Somebody goes out and feeds hungry people with vegetarian, nothing to do with God, but it's just, makes them feel good and they're serving hungry people. They'll get some good pious activity for that. They'll get some karma, some good karma. But you go out and feed people meat, everybody suffers. Does that clear that up? Now I'm just going to throw in, I don't want to confuse, but there could be, well, there definitely is. For the materialists, they're building, they're doing some karma, perhaps, good stuff, and they're also doing bad stuff. They're doing pious things, and they're getting good karma for it, but they're also doing bad things. So like this doctor I'm telling you about, my surgeon, he does, the fact that he goes and he helps young children and so on, he doesn't charge anything. He does it just because he wants to do the right thing, do a good thing, kind of give back to the world, building good karma. But I doubt if he's a vegetarian. I'd be willing to bet he isn't. And, so he's also building bad karma. But one thing we got to know is, how do they balance? The important thing we got to know is this. It's like it's not like a check register. It's how much you got coming in and how much you got going out. It's, you got your good karma and you've got your bad karma, and they're both waiting for you. One does not cancel out the other. And there's a great story in the Krishna book about King Nriga. How many people remember the story of King Mriga in the Krishna book? Oh, everybody practically. Okay. So that's one of the things waiting for you, Francia and Gansham, when you get to it. It's a story about a king who was always giving in charity to the Brahmins. He was always giving charity to the Brahmins. And he gave, like, literally, he gave like as many cows away, young cows, that just had like one baby. And he said they were like as numerous as the stars in the sky. You couldn't even count how many. He was just so pious. And he's building this incredible karma. But there's one thing he did by accident that got him some bad karma. It wasn't even intentional. But even though it wasn't intentional, it was bad karma. So he had to suffer when he was kind of like through it all, and he went to like Yamaraj. He said, well, you sure got a lot of karma, but you got one bad thing. What do you want to do first? He gave him a choice. So let's get it over with. So he got cursed and became a lizard. But his karma was so good that Krishna came at the that's right. He did a little bit of devotional service, not just positive karma. He did some akarma. To the devotees. He was giving to the Brahmins, but these are materialistic Brahmins, not devotees. But to one Vaishnava that was making a temple or something, he wanted money for literature, and he gave it to that devotee. And therefore, when the things were over with the lizard, Krishna came and was there and took him out of the lizard body after a number of years. Okay, so we clear on that?
Yes, Gurudev, thank you.
Okay, now we'll go to okay. Now we're at Francia. Okay, so she's reading in the 18th chapter of the very, very end. How many pages left? Can't be more than
About 12.
Okay, yeah, a dozen or so. All right. Okay, most confidential. Okay, so it's saying most confidential knowledge is to surrender to Krishna. Is a perfect reminder for me during the Advent time. What do you mean by Advent time?
This is the 4 weeks before Christmas.
Okay. It's called the Advent time. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Advent, the coming.
Okay, cool. All right. However, when Prabhupada says to concentrate only on the little blue boy with the flute, he loses me. He's pretty emphatic as he goes on. One should not even direct his attention to other forms of the Lord. Then her question is, what is your experience with other devotees who may be drawn to another grown-up form of Krishna? In other words, not just little baby Krishna, little blue cowherd boy, but as he got like a adolescence, like, 13, 14, and doesn't get older than that. Am I being too literal? We have to read everything that Prabhupada says. If we just try to take something in isolation, I went back and read it because you gave me the chapter, so I went and I read those 2 verses. Yeah, it's Prabhupada. He's just like getting into it. But when we read everything that Prabhupada has given us, we have what I call a global understanding of our philosophy. And certainly the most intimate relationship with Krishna is as well. Actually, I'm not sure of the age. He was still in Vrindavan. He's with the gopis. He hadn't left yet. the little blue cowherd boy. I'm not sure what stage Prabhupada was thinking, but that little blue cowherd boy had his girlfriends, he had his boyfriends, and that's all ecstatic. And he's just edging us on here in the last chapter to the sweetest of the sweetest of the sweetest. Now, there's a great story that you read in the Chaitanya Charitamrita where Lord Chaitanya had a very intimate associate who was a follower. He loved Lord Ramchandra. I don't know if you know much about Ram, certainly, or Indian, certainly, since Ghanshyam was a little boy, and also Vrindavan Chandra, and also Rasika. They heard about the Krishna since they were children. Am I right? The little babies, they knew about Krishna. And they also knew about Ram. They all knew Ramayan. Am I right?
Yeah.
So the Ramayan is the story of Lord Ramchandra. That's Krishna in a different form, where he was also, a great king, but he was banished to the forest, and it's this amazing story, the story of Ramayan. And so this one associate of Lord Chaitanya's, he just loved Lord Ram. His inclination was Lord Ram, not Krishna. Lord Ram is not as intimate as Krishna, but he's really wonderful. And he's more popular in India than Krishna. Ghanshyam, is that your understanding?
Yes, Gurudev.
Yeah, Ram is most popular because he's such a perfect gentleman. Krishna's a little far out for most people. Only the highest can really understand this rascal. Ram is not a rascal. No rascal, not a drop of rascal in Ram. He's a straight shooter, but you love him. Oh, is there something I don't know? All right.
So the other name of Ram is Maryada Purushottam Ram. So that means disciplinary.
Disappearing.
Discipline, Maryada,
Discipline.
yeah.
He's very disciplined, super disciplined. So anyway, one of Lord Chaitanya's very dear associates, all he could think of was Ram. And Lord Chaitanya told him, his name was Morari Gupta. Gupta means he was a doctor. And he told Morari, he said, I want you to give up Ram, and I want you to now turn your heart over to Krishna. And he agreed. So day or so later, he came back. The Lord Chaitanya is crying. He's crying. And Lord Chaitanya said, what is the problem? He said, my dear Lord, I tried to follow your instruction, but I can't take my heart away from Ram. And then Lord Chaitanya embraced him. And he said, I was just testing you. So definitely whether someone falls in love with Varaha, the Krishna is in the boar incarnation, they're all wonderful. They're all great. But the fact is, Lord Chaitanya is leading us. If we have some other inclination along the way, fine. But they're basically leading us back to Braj, back to Vrindavan, to the most intimate relationships with Krishna. But right now, don't worry so much about what our position's going to be. Right now, we just want to focus on being a good student, a good servant of our Guru. That's certainly how I feel. I'm not focused about what's my relationship with Krishna. What is my relationship with my Guru? And I've done a lot of different services for Prabhupada. I can tell you this is my favorite. It's being with my children. Whoa, this is good stuff. Because Krishna says there's no one more dear than one who's preaching. Nor will there ever be. So this is the sweetest service I've ever had, but it's all been wonderful. Managing temples and things I've done. Okay, so we got about 5 minutes left. our time. Does anyone have a question they can put forward? We'd like to hear some discussion on.
Gurudev, I have a question. So the body is the perfect vehicle for the soul to go back home, back to Godhead, right? So
Yeah.
once the soul leaves the body, then why do we have so many ritualistic activities for the body if the body there's nothing there anymore?
Well, Prabhupada never gave us that. He never gave. I mean, for the Hindus, Hindu, not the devotees, those that are kind of karmic and so on, or just part of their tradition, they're just not real clear that we're not the body, and they're thinking that they've got to. There may be some wisdom behind this, that they do rituals so that the soul to help the soul leave the body, because sometimes the soul can be very attached, which is my understanding. One of the reasons that they cremate is so that the soul won't want to go back to that body. But Prabhupada never made it a big. He never focused. I mean, read all of his books. He's never focused on it at all. It's just anything important is there. But just actually, we were having a discussion this morning. One of my god sisters, she just left her body yesterday, and we were talking about, well, she's at the hospital, and in India, generally, the idea is if somebody dies at night, you burn the body or bury or whatever before the sun rises, and if it happens during the day before the sun sets, you have to do that. But so this gal, she died in the hospital, and they wanted to have, the devotees wanted to have, sooner rather than later, have her cremated. But the hospital won't let her go. I guess there's laws that maybe they have to go to the, what's the person called? The doctor that, what are they called?
Mortician?
No, the doctors.
Nurse practitioner?
I'm sorry?
Nurse practitioner?
No, the ones that, like, if let's say there's a murder, and those
Well,
doctors.
coroner?
Autopsy.
What?
Coroner?
Coroner,
The
yeah. Well,
Coroner.
yeah, there's this field of medicine that to be the coroner. I forgot what it's called, but that's their job. Is they work with dead bodies, and so they want to make sure. Anyway, there's I don't know. There's red tape, so they cannot legally, until whatever has to be done is done, before she can leave the body. So the devotees are trying. This is on the Big Island, the next a couple islands away from me, here in Hawaii. They're waiting until she can be released from the hospital, and then they're going to have her cremated. And then a bunch of devotees will be there, and they'll be chanting, and but it's not. Prabhupada never made a big deal about it. Devotees, they're going back to Krishna. We don't go through all these mantras and tantras and this, that, and the other, and all kinds of rituals. They'll maybe pour some Ganga water, but even if nothing happened, I think you'd be fine. I just got a text from just before this class that one of my friends, well, he's very favorable to devotees, and he's been to the temple. He likes devotees. He likes prasadam. So, but he's getting ready to leave his body soon, and so my friend from Alachua was suggesting that maybe I could go put some neck beads on him, which I may do. I mean, if I didn't get to do that, no big deal. But I kind of feel I'd like to put some neck beads on him. But if it doesn't happen, you leave it in Krishna's hands. Is that okay?
Yes, good. You answered my question because someone had mentioned that the soul is attached to the body even after we die. So that was
That's
where my confusion.
the materialist.
So that's
The
where my
materialist
confusion came
is.
from, is how can the soul be attached to the dead body and want to come back to the dead body, which is why we burn the body.
Well, I don't
The
know.
soul is gone within seconds from, so
Well,
then
now
why would it want to come back?
according to again, Prabhupada doesn't talk much about it, but apparently for the non-devotee, they're still attached to the body. They don't want to leave
For
it.
the non-devotee.
The
For devotees we're
non-devotee,
not okay. For devotees we're not attached to the body.
no, we just let Krishna take care of everything.
So
We
then
let
how does the
Krishna
soul
take care of
know if
everything.
it's a devotee or a non-devotee?
I'm sorry?
So how will the soul know if the person's a devotee or a non-devotee?
What person?
No, how will the soul know?
Well, the soul is practically asleep. What's
Mm,
active is the false ego. The
mm,
soul is there, and there's the false ego, and the false ego is thinking, "Oh, that's me. I don't want to leave." They're
mm.
attached, and that's
Okay,
sort of
yeah,
a
that
Hindu,
answers. Mm,
maybe Gansham, or Vrindavan Chandra know a little bit more about that because they've Gansham. Well, you're from India, so what is your?
Nepal.
No, that's right. You're from Nepal. Okay, yeah, they have very strong Hindu culture there. And Vrindavan Chandra, he's from Fiji.
yes, Gurudev, you answered my question.
Yeah, we don't worry about it. Krishna's going to take care of everything.
And Ram
But
Dass's hands is
the
also.
Hindus, the karmic Hindus, they like to do all kinds of rituals,
Mm,
long mantras and Brahmins and fires and stuff, and that's all done before the body's burned.
mm.
And my understanding is that all the rituals go on like at um, anyway, the rituals are done, and then the family leaves, and then the priest burned the body. The family doesn't stay for that. But devotees, and I hadn't had that much experience with it, but sometimes the devotees, they'll actually go to the crematorium and have a kirtan
Mhm.
when the fire goes on. One of my friends was just describing that this morning. That devotees would go to the crematorium, and when the fire rages out, Hare Krishna, they'll just chant. If that didn't happen, it would be fine because this was a devotee anyway. But so we do a little something.
Yes, thank you, Gurudev.
Okay. All right. Well, we're at the end of our hour. So thank you all
Thank
for
you.
being here. Anybody can join us if you're available tomorrow. We'll have another class tomorrow. Same time, same station. And by the way, I think I mentioned it earlier. I don't know if everybody heard, but Tirtha Prabhu is going to give a class on e-sangha at 6 a.m. Hawaii time, which is 8 a.m. on the West Coast on Christmas. Do people work on Christmas Eve? Is that a day off? Is that a holiday?
I
How
work,
does that work?
Gurudev. Yes, I work. It's state is open for
State's
business.
open.
Yes.
Okay. Lakshman Prabhu, what about you?
I'm taking the week off for family, so I can get ready for family and so forth. So I'll be taking the week off, but the college is open that day, Gurudev.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. I thought maybe they let you out a day early or something. But
Nope.
anyway. All right. Well, it'll be recorded. So anybody that doesn't get to hear it, we can get you the recording. All right, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Wonderful to be with you. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Haribol.